Champions League football. Another day of Champions League football. We obviously have more games coming up, but today Real Madrid played, Liverpool played, Benfica, Chelsea played. A lot of good games. A lot of good games. A lot of games went exactly how we thought they would go. Some games really surprising. Galatasaray, Liverpool was wild. But I want to talk about a few different things. Talk about, obviously, the upset in the Galatasaray game. I want to talk about Real Madrid, but I really want to talk a lot about Benfica after I get... So we'll start with those teams, and then we'll get into Benfica, and I'll really kind of tell you how I feel as a Benfiquista and how that's going, because obviously that's the game I paid the most attention to. Benfica played Chelsea today. Mourinho's return to Stamford Bridge, boom, 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 all that stuff. But let's start with Real Madrid. Started the game today with the boy Asensio, my boy Dean, and David Alaba, right? So it was this sort of kind of three-back-ish formation, or at least what it looked like on paper. Obviously, there's three center backs on the field with David Alaba, Dean, and Asensio. And what's really nice about David Alaba is he can play that left-back position, or he used to when he was younger, where he could play both positions. But this is a formation that, for me, I love in football right now. And being in a five-back or being in a four-back right now in football doesn't matter, because teams are so defensive regardless, and people play such low blocks regardless, that it really truly doesn't matter if it's a four-back or a five-back. If you pay attention to football right now, teams are lining up in something like a 4-3-3, but then their midfielders are so deep that it almost looks like they're playing a freaking eight-back at times, right? So it doesn't matter if you're in a five-back or a four-back. Football is just a bit more defensive right now when it comes to how teams are structured on the field. And this three-back, what I love about it is offensively, you have so many mismatches because it puts so many players in the front, which is beautiful, right? Because for me, I'm someone who really likes attacking football. And under Ruben Amorim with Sporting, you would see these over-the-top balls, or you would see these triangle plays, and you would see a team really be able to break down the low block of another team simply because of the mismatch of the three-back. And that's what Xabi Alonso did so well at Bayer Leverkusen. They played a five-back, a.k.a. a three-back, and if you look at them, they didn't lose any games that entire season with Bayer Leverkusen. And when you look at their starting 11, it wasn't this unbelievable, remarkable starting 11 that blows you away. It was a great starting 11. So when I look at this team, when I look at what they can do in this amazing formation that Xabi Alonso is so good at running, I just think they could do so much with it. And I think it'll be something that will really separate Real Madrid from the bunch. Because when you look at Real Madrid, when you look at Bayern, when you look at Liverpool, when you look at Man City, all of them are just so close. Like literally any of these teams can beat the other one on any day. Like there's no team that's just separating themselves from the bunch. That Barcelona team with Messi, Neymar, you know, that team separated themselves from the bunch. The Ronaldo and Bale, Benzema, that team that won the three-peat, they separated themselves. So it's, to me, it's just what team in football wants to separate themselves from everybody else. Everyone is doing stuff kind of the same. And I just kind of wish Xabi Alonso would do what he's so great at and do this formation, right? Because this formation, you're going to score a lot of goals. And the one thing I love about it is today was a very winnable game for Real Madrid. And Real Madrid knew it was a very winnable game for Real Madrid. They understood the task at hand. And if you're going to test a team in this formation, these are the type of games to do it in. These are the type of games to really understand, because the one thing about Chelsea, Benfica, Real Madrid, we didn't have time to have a regular offseason where Xabi Alonso could sit down in his office and really think about what the best thing to do with these players are, and get on the phone and sit down with players and talk to players about what he wants to implement. It was literally, hey, let's go play the Club World Cup. Club World Cup, Club World Cup. Okay, you guys go on vacation. Okay, 2-3 weeks of vacation. Okay, now you're back for preseason. There was boom, 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 boom. There wasn't time for these coaches to really sit down with their players and really put and implement what they want to run for this upcoming season. So throughout this season, I think we'll see Xabi Alonso do certain things with this team that eventually will get him to where he wants them to be. I don't think this is the final place for Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid. I don't even think we're scraping the surface. I don't even think we're close to where this Xabi Alonso Real Madrid is going to be. I truly don't. I think this is going to be a very, very different team by the time we're done with him, right? By the time Xabi Alonso's done with him. The one thing that Xabi Alonso is very blessed about is that he has the best player in the world in the front. And I know a lot of people will say Lamine Yamal is the best player in the world, and I understand why you say that. But for me, it's Mbappe. Mbappe is so damn good, right? Mbappe is so good. And someone will turn and someone will leave a comment, but it's a hat trick against a team they should have beat. Let's stop acting like this man hasn't scored in every single game he's played this year, pretty much. Let's not act like he's not the best striker in the world right now, and he's not even a striker, right? The way this guy is scoring, the way this guy is starting to adapt to that position is scary. And I think the more Mbappe adapts to that position and the more his teammates adapt to how he plays that position, this player is going to become more scary and scary and scary and scary. And because Real Madrid won today and Mbappe scored 3 goals, we won't see the hey skills if Mbappe lands. We won't see those trolls out today. But slowly we're getting to that phrase I said, if Mbappe lands Madrid, we're getting there. We're slowly getting to that because Mbappe is starting to become unmarkable. Mbappe is starting to become untouchable. When you really sit down and look at what he's done this season, you start to think to yourself, this is a very scary player. And I know they lost to Atletico Madrid, but he scored. And the goal he scored is a phenomenal goal. It's a great goal. So you can't blame Mbappe for the Atletico Madrid match, right? You can't blame him. You can't blame him for any match this season because he's been on. And I'm excited to just see how the season finishes for him. And I'm very, very excited to see how the season finishes for Xabi Alonso. Let's jump to Benfica real quick. No, real quick. Congratulations to Galatasaray. You just went toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in Europe. You just went toe-to-toe with Liverpool, and they beat them. Osimhen puts a goal in. I don't really have too much to say about it because I didn't watch this game. But when I saw the score, I was like, wow, that is crazy. So shout out to Turkish football. Shout out to Osimhen. Shout out to Galatasaray for coming up big. Massive 3 points for them. That shocks all the UCL, if I'm being honest with you. But a huge 3 points to Galatasaray, man. That is massive. So congratulations to them. Real quick with Benfica, man. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's a huge mess, lads. There's not really much for me to say about Benfica. This is probably one of Benfica's better games, if I'm being honest with you. I think a draw might have been fair against Chelsea. I don't think Benfica was poor in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, if Benfica played like this every single week, we probably wouldn't be in the situation we're in. But we're in the situation we're in because of Rui Costa. Presidency elections is in October, which for me is one of the stupidest things in the world. I'm going to tell you why. The fact that you plan a whole season, do a whole season, and now elections are in October, it makes no sense because if a new president comes in, he's going to want to change things around. So it makes zero sense. And that's where Rui Costa really hurt us. So what am I talking about? First of all, the election should have been the summertime because no way should this president have put together his squad with a new president coming in, right? Because he spent a bunch of money on players the new president might not even want, right? And you hired coaches the new president might not even want. So to break it down for you really quickly, our Bruno Lage, who was our coach, who I didn't think I should be our coach, but he was our coach, gets sacked. And when he gets sacked, he talks about how he wanted Enzo and he wants certain things, but he said he didn't want Rios, that Rios was a Rui Costa signing. And I knew this. We all knew this because Rui Costa has signed certain players based off of hype to make Benfica fans happy for us to vote for him. But the truth is, any Benfica that's been paying attention, Benfica fans been paying attention, should understand that that should not make you happy. What should make you happy is results. And the facts are this. We signed Mourinho off of hype, off of a name, so he could win an election. We signed Rios off of hype, off of a name, so he could win an election. We signed the Sudakov guy from Ukraine, who looks like a great player. Looks like he could be a great player, but off of hype, off of a name, off of Benfica fans begging for a number 10. We signed Ivanovic off of hype, off of his name, off of his upcoming strike, because to make a splash. These are players that weren't signed because it's going to benefit the squad. It was to benefit Rui Costa winning a presidency. And then our entire year this year was planned on Rui Costa winning a presidency over the team performing. So the results that we're getting, the fact that we're behind in the league, we're going to Porto this Sunday, we're gonna lose. I don't see us beating Porto. We're gonna be 7 points back. The fact that all of this is happening is because Ricosta wanted to put a team to win an election rather than a team that could win you football matches. So the fact that we put this game against Chelsea today was impressive. But what scares me the most right now, lads, and hear me very carefully when I say this, do I think it's going to happen? No, but I'm fearful of it. Ruben Amorim could potentially get sacked, right? Ruben Amorim's a Benfica fan. He's been his freaking at Benfica for years. Benfica's wanted this guy for a long time, ever since he got the Sporting. Benfica fans really want him. This new president that's gonna run, I have a fear where one of them is gonna talk to Ruben if he gets sacked and be like, hey, will you come, boom, boom, and then promise him, and now he wins the election. But what does that mean? That means you have to sack Mourinho. Mourinho's been there a month, bro. You're gonna end up sacking this guy for a bunch of millions to bring in, and let's say it's not even Ruben, any manager that this new president wants to bring in. Now you're sacking Mourinho, who's been there a month. That's why I tell you, if Ricosta was a real Benfica fan, if Ricosta was a real president, he wouldn't have hired a manager until the elections. And if he would have won the elections, then you can hire Mourinho, or then you can hire Ruben Amorim, or then you can hire this guy, or that guy, or that guy, or this guy. But hiring a month before the elections, you hurt the club. Because no matter what president comes in is going to want to make a difference, make a splash, be under pressure, and they're probably going to end up sacking Mourinho, who's going to get paid a bunch of money for being at Benfica a month and a half. It's just not right. It's Benfica's a mess, bro. I don't see us qualifying in the Champions League. I don't even see us making playoffs. I don't see us going to the Europa League. I don't know if we win any games in the Champions League. Benfica are an absolute mess. Rios was poorly bought, not because Rios is a bad player, but because Benfica didn't need him. Benfica signed him based off of hype of the Club World Cup, and Benfica signed him based off of a name for Ricosta to win the election. It was never bought because this is the football player we need to be successful, right? And that really hurts me inside, bro. We as fans have to watch a team that was built to win an election rather than a team that was built to win games. Spin your boy Skills. I love you guys, man. Thank y'all for watching. I'll catch y'all in the next one, which will be tomorrow for some more Champions League. Y'all be safe, right? Booyah, we out of here.